Hello, how's it going? My name is Oliver. Today I'm making a video that this is a subject that I get asked basically every day in my DMs or just people who join my program and stuff like that. Oliver, is it possible to start an agency with no money whatsoever? Can I start with $0? It's not my recommendation, right? I would suggest you guys to buy a couple of basic softwares just to make your life a lot easier. But there are ways you could start with no money, right? It's not my favorite method, but it's perfectly doable. And I do understand that some of you are maybe not in the best situation where you can afford to spend, like maybe $500 per month in softwares and stuff like that can help you start the agency. So today I'm making a video for you guys. All right, so I'm just gonna walk you through step by step exactly what I would do to start my agency. If I were to start over completely again with no money whatsoever, this is exactly what I would do. Okay, I'm going to try to make it as detailed as possible and not skip over these little things like maybe your business email and stuff like that. Like I'm going to try to really make sure I have everything nailed down, so this video might be slightly longer than usual. But by the end of it, you'll have like a decent understanding as to how can I start it without risking any of my own capital. Alright, so here we are again on my favorite website. I'm going to try to actually go on the websites that I'll be recommending today to start the whole SMMA, but I'll pretend as if like I'm actually doing it, okay? I won't do the entire thing, but I'll go step by step to really show you guys exactly what I would do. Alright, it's doable to do it without money. It's just tricky, but it's doable, okay? So, step one. Very simple, we have to establish the foundations, all right? This is your basic stuff, nothing too crazy, all right? So your branding. So what do I mean by branding? Let's make it a bit more interactive, okay? So what do we mean by our branding, all right? So just basic logo, all right? You can make this on Canva, so free, nothing too crazy. Basic logo, business email. All right, and when I say business email, you can make like business name at gmail.com. Okay. All right, so logo, business email, Stripe account, and Calendly. All right, as for foundations, this is what you need. You don't need anything else. From here, it's fairly straightforward, okay? Many people will ask me, Oliver, do I need a website? You don't need a website, okay? My own agency, I don't even have a website, and I'm making over $10,000 with it, right? So it's not needed. If you had the money, by all means, you make one. Otherwise, it's not necessary, okay? So once you have your logo, business email, your business name as well, your business email, you can make it at businessname@gmail.com. So whatever your business name, you put it at first. Set up your Calendly. All right, make sure you have enough, available time so that when you do actually get a client that wants to talk with you, he can actually find a time that works with his schedule as well. Okay, so be very open as to when you can accept calls. Once you have this down, we move on to step two, which is building the offer. Okay, if you guys have watched a couple of my videos, you know how much I preach the offer as being one of the most important things. Okay, if your offer is bad, all of your efforts when it comes to outreach and the meetings will be useless, basically. All right, it's gonna be very difficult for you to actually close clients. This is why I spend a bunch of time with people actually building their offer. Okay, and this is extremely important. So when it comes to the offer, very simple. Okay, so what exactly do we have to do? First step, we have to establish what niche are we going to be targeting, because the offer will be different depending on the niche. You guys know that I love high ticket. This is my favorite thing. I will always recommend people to do high ticket, and that is my favorite thing. Okay, if you want to do restaurants, bars, and stuff like that, you can go ahead. You can make money in it, but it's going to be a lot trickier for you to be profitable. Okay, you're going to need a lot more volume, more clients, and for me personally, I'd rather work with 5 clients than 50 clients. Okay, that's just my personal preference. So find a niche that's high ticket. I have a bunch of videos explaining like my favorite niches. I think I have a video that, I do have a video that goes over my top 5 niches. So if you have really no idea, watch that video and just pick one of these 5s. Once you have it down, okay, we have to establish the service delivery. So service delivery. Many people will say, yeah, I'm going to run Facebook ads or Google ads, right? I think this is a mistake. I think before, back in the day, maybe you could get away with just offering that type of service. But nowadays, it's going to be a lot more difficult. I think you're better off offering lead generation. Okay, so we're going to generate leads for these businesses. By the way, when I say niche, I specialize very in local businesses. I think it's a lot easier to excel in those niches instead of e-commerce. So this guide is going to be more so guide towards people who want to work with local lead gen. All right, so we're going to generate leads. This can be either through Facebook or Google. They're both good. And then we're going to do lead qualifying. Okay, so we're going to qualify the leads. So what does that mean? That means that, let's say you work with real estate agents, right? And your real estate agents only want to work with people who have a budget over $500,000 for a house. So you have to make sure you qualify the leads, right? So you might get 50 applicants into your Facebook ad, but you have to find a way, how can I sort them out by their budget in terms of what size homes they want to buy? So you can create a form where you can ask them multiple questions. How soon are you looking to move out or buy a house? What's your budget? What location? Questions like these. So we want to qualify the lead. So you will have an in-depth conversation with your client, and he's going to tell you, I want to work with this type of person who lives here, who wants this. And you have to make sure that you deliver all leads that fit this criteria. Okay, so we're going to qualify the leads by asking them questions, and afterwards we're going to do lead nurturing. So we're going to nurture the leads. So we're going to send them SMS, email follow-ups, anything we have to do to make sure that they actually follow through with the process, right? This will be very different depending on your niche and how the buying process looks like, but you want to have some sort of lead nurturing system. Okay, and finally, appointment setting. Oops, I made a mistake here. Okay, appointment setting. All right, so we want to set the appointments directly into their calendar. This will not be always possible depending on what niche you're working with. Some niches, it's fairly straightforward. Like me, I work with plumbers, and the way I do it is that I direct all of the qualified leads to directly call my plumber, or my plumber will call them directly. So I don't have any appointment setting process. But someone who's working with interior remodelers, there you would set some sort of appointment, because it's something that's very personalized to every client, and they need to have some sort of appointment, whether it be by phone or in person, to talk about the service in itself. Okay, so these are kind of like the 4 steps of my service delivery. Lead generation, we generate the leads, we qualify them, we nurture them, and then we make them book an appointment with our clients. Okay. And lastly, the offer. Offer is the most important thing. I'm going to always recommend some sort of performance-based offer. All right, it can be a flat fee, a fixed percentage. It can be, like when I say fixed percentage or flat fee, it can be per appointment, per sale, or it can be after I get you 15 clients, you pay me $2,500, something like that. All right, so there's lots of ways of framing it. There's not like a best way of doing it. It really depends on your niche. All right, this is something that I do. I have a mentorship program, and this is exactly what I would do with you. All right, so if you would join, we would hop on multiple calls, and together I would build this entire thing for you. So you would tell me, I don't know what niche to take. I will give you one. We'll build the system, the offer, and also the service delivery. What is the best service delivery for your specific niche? Okay, so this is extremely important. And then offer. Once we have our offer, from here, it's not too bad. Okay, many people say, okay, the hard part starts now, which is the cold calling and stuff like that. For me, the offer is the hardest part. Okay, because if you have a really good offer, the outreach will be very easy. Okay, most people who join my program, after we build their offer, within their first week, 2 weeks, they're able to book multiple meetings. and from there it's smooth sailing. Okay, so from here, the outreach setup. Before we actually start the outreach, we have to prepare a couple of things. First of all, we have to determine where we're going to source our leads. Now here, typically, if we were not doing it the free method, I'd recommend you guys to buy some sort of software that would scrape leads, where we could just easily one by one call multiple businesses or contact multiple businesses. Here, we want to do the free way. So I'm going to recommend either either like your traditional Google searches, right? So nothing too crazy, or Yellow Pages. I don't know if this is just a Canadian thing, right? Maybe for you guys, you have some sort of different website, but some sort of like registry where you can kind of look at businesses, right? So here, you see there's already my niche, which is plumbing. So plumber, and then I would put my city, Montreal. And as you can see, I have 700 leads I can contact. Okay, this is already a good start. You can get a couple of clients out of 700 easily. Okay, so this is exactly how I would source leads, one by one. Obviously, these ones are in French, so for me it would be slightly different, but as you can see, I have their phone numbers right here, and even a link to their website. So this is how I would source lead for free. Okay, afterwards, tracking sheet. We need some sort of tracking sheet when we start contacting these leads. All right. I will, in the free method, cold calling is what we're going to be doing. Okay? I believe it's the most effective way. It's my preferred way. It's how I grew my business, and it's how I teach most people to grow their businesses. You can do it by cold email or cold DMs. Email, you will have to spend money, guaranteed 100%. Cold DMs, you can get away without spending money. I just prefer cold calling, but cold DMs, it's doable as well, depending on the niche, right? This is one thing that's very important. If you work with dentists or chiropractors and stuff like that, and you tell me, Oliver, I want to cold call, I would not advise you to do that, because it's going to be very hard to cold call and get in contact with a dentist. You know, he's busy, he's working. For that niche, I would do cold email probably. Okay, but if you're working with plumbers, you know, they're often on the phone, they're often, you know, picking up to get more potential jobs. So for them, I would cold call. So it really depends of who you're targeting, but for most of them, you can get away with cold calling, except mostly the medical side of things. So like plastic surgeons, chiropractors, PT, dentists, and stuff like that. Okay. The reason why I'm talking about cold calling is because we're going to need a tracking sheet. All right, so we need to track our cold calls. If someone says, can you call back next week, or can you call back tomorrow at this time, you have to stay organized. All right. I made a video going over my own tracking sheet. There's a link to download it. You can just take that, copy paste it, and use exactly that. In that video, I go over exactly how to use it, so I'm not going to do it in this video. I will put a link in the description. If I do forget, which happens sometimes, just go through my channel. It's like titled tracking sheet for cold call, something like that. Okay, once I have that down, I'll use a script. I've also made a video on how, on my own personal cold calling script. I have modified it since, but it's still like a good starting point, right? So you can use that, and from there just play around with a couple of things, but it's going to work very well if you use it. Okay, so I have my own cold calling script. Afterwards, ebook. Okay, you might say, Oliver, why the hell do we need the ebook? What are you doing? If you remember, in step 1, we did not make a website. We don't have anything. We have no online presence. All right, so when a person contacts you, and rather when you contact a potential client and they tell you, yeah, that sounds interesting, can you send me an email with more information? Ideally, you want to get them to book an appointment with you on that first cold call, but it's not always going to happen that way. Sometimes that is going to happen. They're going to ask for an email. And if they ask for an email with more information, what are you supposed to send if you have no website and nothing really to give them value with? Right, you don't want to just send them an email with your offer. You need something a bit extra. The whole reason why they're asking you for that is because they want to have some sort of social proof that, okay, this person is actually legit and he's not just some random person calling me, even though you are. Right? Okay, so what I tell people to do in my program is make an ebook. right? I have my own template that I've made. I would just like give it to you. You put your logo, you switch up a couple of things, and it's good to go. Right? With that ebook, we are getting like high conversion rates. So make one and include a link to your Calendly in the bottom, right? Have some case studies. And when I say case studies, I know you're going to say, Oliver, I have no clients. What am I supposed to put? Put pictures of other ads and just say the ads that we're going to be making for you are going to look like that. Okay. Don't say these are my ads. Just say we're going to do our ads based off these. Okay. Just do that. And yeah, once you have an ebook, then you're going to be pretty much set to start cold calling, outreaching. All right. So this is very important. I would spend a couple of days on it. And if you're asking me, Oliver, how do I make an ebook? You can make one on Canva. Okay. Completely free to use. It's fairly easy to use as well. So yeah, use Canva. Okay. So we know how to source our leads. We're going to use Google search or Yellow Pages, something like that. We have our tracking sheet downloaded from my video. We have my script from my video. And we also have our ebook that we made through Canva. Now we're ready for outreach. Now, outreach, it's fairly simple. We're going to cold call. For me, cold calling is by far the quickest way for me to get a client. If you locked me in the room and you told me, Oliver, today you have to make money, and you only, you have 1 hour to do it or whatever, I would pick up a phone and start cold calling as quickly as I could, because I know I can book a meeting super easily and close a client afterwards. It's not fun. It's probably the least enjoyable way of getting clients if you compare it to cold email or cold DMs, but it's the quickest way. Okay, so I'm going to cold call. I'm going to recommend you guys to cold call. And also, it's free. Now, some people right away, they're going to say, Oliver, I live in this country. I have to pay. Or whatever. I can't use my phone. Okay, there's a software. This one. Okay, this right here. I'll put a link in the description. If I forget, this is the name of the website. Basically allows you to call from anywhere, unlimited minutes. I think it's only free unlimited if you call in the US, which is fine. Alright, so I know if you call in Cuba, which I don't know why you would be calling in Cuba, but hey, maybe you have some friends over there. Where does it say? United States, search. Yeah, as you can see, look, it's completely free. Call as much as you want to any phone in the United States for free. Okay? You can use the software. So no excuses that I live in this country and I don't have access to a phone. I'm not too sure like what phone, like the number that's being displayed when you cold call. So maybe just test that out by calling yourself and just see what happens. But I know many people in my program who live out of the US and Canada and places like that. They are using this website. Okay. So yeah, from here we start outreach. Fairly simple. You'll cold call. You call as many people as you can. Prime time is 9 a.m. to 12. So those are the best times to cold call. Every niche is slightly different. All right. So maybe for your specific niche, the afternoons will be better. But I've found that for most niches, the mornings will work. All right. So test it out on both sides and see if it's the mornings or the evenings that works best for you. But start with the mornings. Okay. Goal, you make as many cold calls as you can. Right? Your goal is not, I'll make 20. No, you make as many calls as you want. Okay. You call every day if you have to. Don't call on the weekends though. Just call every day on the weekdays and call as many numbers as you can. Right? At first it's gonna suck. Over time you will develop your skills. You become very good at it. With a good script and a good training, within 2 weeks you should be able to get, your first, the hang of things and being able to consistently book meetings. All right. So your first week, don't expect to book a meeting. Your second week, you should be booking meetings. Okay. Once you book your first meeting, the exciting part starts. All right. So this is like you're getting close to closing the client. Here, you need to have a good onboarding system. All right. This is extremely important. I think this is one thing that's kind of overlooked, and I don't think I've made a video on this, so I might make a video in the future. But you have to realize that the whole onboarding process is essentially the first impression that a client has of working with you. And if the onboarding process is not smooth and it's like back and forth, can you send me this? Oh, I need this. Oh, I don't know how to get your Facebook ID and stuff like that. It's not going to like give a good impression to the client. They're going to tell that you're kind of new to this and you don't really know what you're doing. All right. So try to have it prepared before the meeting so that if they do actually say yes, you'll know exactly what to do and you can send them over all of the information. For me, what I would do is 3 things. Here I will 2. So I missed one. I would make a form. All right, so you ask them questions that you would need from them. Okay, like name, email, phone number. What do you want to advertise? What's your ad budget? Why should people work with you? What are your criteria in the leads? Questions like that. Can you send me pictures of your company so we can use them in the ads? You know, anything you need to ask. Again, every niche is very different, but you get the gist of it. All right, you want to get as much information as you can from them. A contract. Okay, this is fairly straightforward. There's a bunch of templates online. You can just find one, switch it up to your specific niche, your service, your offer, and from there you can use what's it called, PandaDoc. Okay, to make the contracts. It is free to use. It's free if you use your at gmail.com. If you use a business account, you have to pay for it, but if you use Gmail, you don't have to pay anything. All right, so as you can see, free account. So yeah, onboarding form, and there was another one which is a short Loom. Okay, I would make like a Loom video. Hi, my name is Oliver. Super excited to start working with you. Here are the next steps. I'm going to send you over a contract which you should have received by email. Please fill that out as quickly as you can because we do need it to start creating the ad campaigns for you. In the meantime, blah blah blah, and you basically tell them what to do. All right, so you just give them a little bit of guidance, reassurance, and you give them sort of like a game plan of what the next couple of weeks are going to look like working with you. It's going to make you seem professional, and it's going to be a good first impression they're going to have of you. And yeah, make sure you like dress well. Okay, don't wear like a big bright hoodie like I did, but a polo, a shirt, or nothing. You can just record it once and save it for every new client you onboard. All right, so just take your time, make it clean, and yeah. Okay, so once you have that all prepared, one other thing you have to do, which I completely missed, is your presentation. Now, I have a very different view on presentations. Many people will use PowerPoints. I know that's what probably 90% of people do. I'm a very like, let's just have a conversation, right? What do you need from me? What do I provide? Can this work? Let's negotiate a good price that both of us can be happy with, and then let's work together. Okay, I'm a very like, just let's have a conversation. The only sort of presentation that I use is a workflow chart that goes over my my service delivery. I have made a video on this, right? It's like my presentations that I use for my meetings. Go on there and just copy exactly what I did with my workflow chart. Copy it word for word. Just switch up like a couple of things, but for the most of it, you can just copy it. And in that video, I go over exactly how I pitch it. All right. Many people ask me, Oliver, why don't you use presentations? Everyone does it. Like, why is your method so much better? I'm not saying it's better. For me, what I've realized is, at school, when the teacher is like going through a PowerPoint and you're just listening through it, and after 5 minutes you feel like falling asleep. I feel like clients will have that same impression if you do that, because you guys are nervous. You are brand new. You're not good at sales, which is normal. So if you have a PowerPoint, what's probably going to happen? You will start reading off. You're going to sound like a robot, and it's not going to be a good experience. Okay, so if you do really need the PowerPoint to keep yourself organized, just make sure to ask them a bunch of questions. Okay, keep it like a dynamic conversations. So once you switch to a PowerPoint that goes over, I don't know, Facebook ads. Oh, have you guys ever ran Facebook ads in the past? Yeah, we did. It wasn't good for us. We had the agency, they weren't good. How come we didn't like working with that agency? They didn't give us good results. We paid them too much money. And you're like, oh, perfect. That's exactly why we're performance-based, to basically eliminate the risk on your end, and he holds us accountable on our end. Just kind of like talk with them. But yeah, meetings, I have a bunch of videos on that. All right, so watch those videos as well. Have the onboarding process done and have your presentation done. Okay, so you finish the meeting, client is super happy, and he decides to work with you. He says, yes, let's do it. I'm super excited. Now we have to move on to the fun part, which is service delivery. Okay, service delivery, you have two ways of doing it. There is, I say two ways because we're not supposed to spend any money. Okay, so far we did not spend a dime. Everything was free. We get to service delivery. You can either do the traditional method, which is let's hire a media buyer and then have them do everything for us. Okay, it's going to cost you about $500 per month, and this you would only pay them at the end of the month once you bring your client. Once you get paid. So you'll get paid $3,000. You pay your media buyer $500. You keep the difference. All right. So we didn't technically spend any money because we made the money, then we reinvested it. So that's like the traditional method. So you can do that, right? That's always a good option. What I've recently started to teach people in my program to do, because I do think it's just better overall, it's more efficient, is to use Go High Level, pair it up with UpHex, and do that as a service delivery. You can basically do it yourself if you use UpHex. It's not too complicated. It is good to kind of have someone on your side who knows what they're talking about. So watch a couple of videos, maybe like someone can kind of hold your hand and teach you how to do it. But overall, I prefer doing UpHex. I'm someone who really just likes to have control over everything. I don't like that the fate of my results, especially performance based, is reliant on some guy who I barely know, who I interviewed, a day ago from a Facebook group. It's just, for me, I'm a control freak. I like to have control over everything. So I prefer like a lot more the whole Go High Level and UpHex thing, because everything is under my control and I can supervise everything. All right. And afterwards you can hire a VA and have them manage the UpHex and the Go High Level. All right. So you can still outsource it and you're not doing everything yourself, for the next 20 years when you have your marketing agency. So that's what I call the new way. All right. Not many people are doing it. Is what I teach everyone in my program to do. Absolutely. But yeah, the new way. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. To do the new way, technically you would have to pay money. All right, you would have to buy Go High Level, which is $100 if you only have one client, and another $100 for UpHex, so $200. So to follow our little fictionary game plan, which is we don't want to spend any money, technically I could not do the new way, which is why I kept the traditional way. One sort of cheat code, if you want to get by doing it for free and still doing it the new way, would be to charge an upfront fee in step 5 to your clients. All right, this is something you can easily do once you have the experience and everything. So if you're confident, you can easily tell the person, like, look, our performance, our program, our services are mostly performance based. There is, however, an initial setup fee of only $500, where basically that will be used to create your website, the ads and everything. But once everything is set up, from there you're not charged anything until we actually bring you results for your company. All right, so just to start, it's a small fee of $500, and from there we basically get the okay. I get the okay from my boss to start working and building the ad campaign. Okay, so you can say something like that, and then use that $500 to invest it in the new way, which is to buy UpHex and Go High Level. All right, so that's kind of the cheat code that you guys can do. And yeah, once you have that, service delivery should be good. By the end of the month, you'll be paid. You'll be super happy. And then you move on to step 7, which is scaling. Okay, from here, you take all that money, you stop being cheap, and you invested everything back in the business. Right, so you go back to my previous steps, and every place where you could have spent money, you do spend money. Okay, because this is the bare bones. So here you buy a proper email, you buy a proper like scraper tool to find those leads, the phone numbers. Outreach stays the same. Meetings the same. Service delivery, here you have a bit more money. When you sign your second client, you will need to upgrade the Go High Level, so you'll have to spend a bit more money in there. But other than that, there's not that much more money to be spent. So it's still like a relatively cheap business model, even if you have no money. If you can find like $300, you can still start it, because the only thing you really need to buy is Go High Level and UpHex, like if you do it the new way. which is $200. So you need 200. Lead scraping software is like $30 per month. So let's say 250 with the email. 250 per month to operate a business. It's nothing. I'm sure you guys go out, to clubs and stuff like that. So just don't do that for a month or two, and you'll have that 250. Right? So it's a dumb excuse if you guys are. I understand some. Like I have a couple of people in my program. They're in high school. They're super young, and they don't have a stable income that they can risk $300, in a month, or 250. So I understand where you're coming from. But if you're working a part-time job and you have consistent money coming in, and you're acting cheap, and you're not willing to kind of risk, not even risk, just I would call it invest. Right? It's not even risking. You're just investing your money into something that can help you grow as a person. And what's the worst that can happen? Even if you do fail and everything goes sideways. Like, okay, I lost $300, but hey, I learned how to build an offer, how to do some outreach, how to cold call, how to do a meeting with a client, how to do some service delivery, right? Okay, I wasn't able to get them good results with Facebook ads, but hey, at least I got like a good learning experience. But obviously this is something that can be easily avoided, right? If you're well prepared, this won't happen. We don't want this to happen, but you get what I'm saying, right? So yeah, that's how I would start the agency with no money. It's not that complicated. It's fairly straightforward. I think like if this is not, like if you're not succeeding and you're using money as an excuse, I think that's complete bullshit. Because money is not the problem in this business model. The problem is mostly here, the offer. You have a bad offer with a bad niche, and here, the outreach. You have trouble with outreach, which is normal. Sales is very difficult to learn. You need proper training or proper education on it, so it's normal, but it's either outreach or the offer that's holding you back. It's not money. Okay, but today I basically so that was the point of the video, right? I just didn't want you guys to use money as an excuse as to why you're not being successful. Okay, so I hope this video was useful. It was a bit longer at 30 minutes than expected, but I hope this was in-depth enough. And as always, guys, if you have questions or anything, just send me a quick message on Instagram. I'm pretty active. I do try to respond as quickly as I can. And hopefully I can help you guys, and hopefully this was useful.